Greetings, math fans. All right, so this is our review sheet for Chapter 3, and the solution's already posted in the Google Drive, but I want to do a quick video, and in case you didn't understand something by looking at the review sheet, the solutions, you could listen to the video. See? Okay, so let's kind of get started. Again, this is going to be pretty quick. So first thing is identify the domain and the range. You guys remember that the domain is always x values, and the range is always y values. And you guys should remember it's x comma y. Okay, so this is like super easy. So the domain, you just look at the x values. So we got basically it's 3, -5, -3, and 6. Super easy. And then the range is 2, 0. I know it's 2 again, so I'm not gonna write it. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, so it's 2, 0, and 6. That's your range. Okay, pretty easy. How do you know if a set of points or relations represents a function? Basically, if it's a function, the x values can't repeat. Okay, if the x values repeat, it's not a function. If they don't repeat, then it is a function. Okay, so the first example is, if you notice right off the bat here, the 1 repeats and the 2 repeats. One of them repeats, it doesn't matter which one. If something repeats, it is not a function. Okay, and this one, it's a 0, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter about the y value. I don't care about the y values. Only care about the x. So this is, yes, it is a function. Okay? Okay, pretty easy. Evaluate the following functions. So literally, you're taking this 5 and you're putting it into where there's an x. I told you guys to, I told you guys to, whatever you see a variable, put a parenthesis around it. Okay? So that's what you should start out with, just like that. Okay, don't put the negative inside the parentheses, right? That negative's on the outside. Literally replace the variable with a parenthesis. And so if I put a 5 in here, or then you can put this in your calculator, I don't care. Basically, it's 5 squared, which is 25. That makes it -25, and then -3. So my answer is -28. Okay, so this one, same thing. I'm going to say -2 parenthesis, -1 squared plus 3. Put it directly in your calculator or do it manually. -1 squared is 1. Times -2 is -2, plus 3 is 1. Okay. Do the following graphs represent a function? Remember, use the vertical line test. So if it doesn't hit it more than one spot when you're drawing a vertical line, then you're good to go. And you can see it never hits it. It hits it one spot here, one spot here, one spot here. All right, so that's good. This one, right away, you can see, not a function. Okay, because it hits it in 2 spots when I draw one line. Doesn't matter where you draw the line, if it hits in more than one spot, it is not a function. So this is, it is a function, and this is not a function. Okay, keep going here. It says graph the following lines. So you guys should remember, that's your y-intercept, that -1. So you plot -1 here, and the slope is 3 over 1. So it goes up 1, 2, 3, and over 1, and there's your graph. Okay, pretty easy. Please do not graph the y-intercept on the x-axis. This is the y-axis. That's what they call the y-intercept. Okay. Y equals -1/2 x. So really, you still have to plot a y-intercept. So it's like the same plus 0, even though you don't say it. So you plot 0 first, and then it's down 1 over 2. So down 1 over 2. And there's your graph. Okay, and don't just connect the dots. Some people just connect the dots. You got it's a line. Keeps going. Okay. Determine if the following pairs of equations are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay. So basically, you have to look at the slopes. So this one's already solved for y, which is kind of nice. So here's -2 and here's -1/2. They are not. They need to be opposite and reciprocal. Which means opposite means plus to minus, right, or minus to plus, and reciprocal means flip the fraction. So it has to be both in order to be perpendicular. That's a little perpendicular symbol. So this one is the same sign, and it's flipped. So it's not both. It's got to be both of them. So this is neither, because it's only reciprocals, not opposite. Okay. The next one, I got to do a little bit of work. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides. So you get 6y is equal to 3x plus 18. Divide by 6. Solve for y. So y is equal to 1/2 x plus 3. I'm only concerned about the 1/2. Okay? So let's solve for the y here. Oops, minus 2x, sorry, minus 2x. So you get negative 4y equals negative 2x plus 12 divided by negative 4. So y is equal to, that's positive 1/2. You got to remember that, double negative, 1/2 x minus 3. Okay, so my slope is 1/2. So there's the same slope. So same, that means parallel. Okay, the only one that we perpendicular, let's say if it was, 2/3 and negative 3/2. Right, those would be perpendicular because opposite and reciprocal. Okay, next kind of problem is to determine the x and y intercepts. Got to know how to do that. Remember, an x-intercept, you set y to 0. Okay, so we'll do that. So it's x minus 5 times 0 equals 15. So I set y to 0. That's out of there. So it's x equals 15. So your coordinate, your x-intercept is 15 comma 0. Okay, because remember, it's x comma y. And I already set my y to 0. So I know y is 0, and I figured out what x was, so that goes there. So that's why it's 15 comma 0. Okay, to find my y-intercept, I set x to 0. So I get 0 minus 5 times y equals 15. So that's out of there. But I still have this, don't forget, don't lose the negative. So negative 5y equals 15 divided by negative 5. Y is negative 3. So my coordinate is 0, negative 3. Again, the x was 0, so I put that into, it's 0 for x, right? And then y was negative 3, so I put that into the second, which is the second part, which is the y value. Okay? All right, so far so good. The next one is find the slope. So guys, you have to be careful, okay? I'm asking you to find the slope. And sometimes people kind of mess it up. It says find the slope. It doesn't say find the equation, find the slope. So I got to use, I'm going to write it on the side here, m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? So if you want to label it, I think it's not a bad idea. So this is x1, y1, and this is x2, y2. All right, and so plug it in. So m equals, and remember I told you guys do this. Put the double negative in here, and then 7 and negative 7, and negative 2 and negative 2. So that gives you plus, so you get 14, and on the bottom, that's plus, so that gives you 0. So that slope is undefined. Now you might have been able to recognize that in the first place because these are both negative 2, and that's x is in both negative 2, which means it's undefined. Okay, remember if the 0 is on, well, let's do the next one. Okay, so m equals, again, let's label it x1, y1, x2, y2. So it's going to be 1 minus 1 over negative 2 minus 8. So you get 0 over negative 10, which is 0. So please put 0 on there. Don't put 0 over negative 10. Right? But you kind of, again, you could recognize that it's kind of a band problem. The slope, the y value is the same. So it's got to be a horizontal line. So it's automatically y equals 0. It's automatically y equals 0 for, or sorry, the slope is equal to 0. The equation is y equals 1. If I ask you for the equation. Okay? So anyway, this is the slope, 0. All right, cool. Let's keep going here. Now I'm asking you to find an equation, which means I'm going to have something like y equals mx plus b. All right, so the first thing I have to do is I have to find the slope. So 6 and 0. Right? Again, if you want to label it, x1, y1, x2, y2. So 6 minus 0 over negative 2 and 2. So you get 6 over negative 4, which is negative 3/2. That's your slope. And now you need to find b. And so you're going to plug that into y equals mx plus b. You're to pick any point. I'm going to pick the easier one. So I'm going to pick the 2 zeros. So y, which is 0, equals m, which is what I just figured out, negative 3/2. Times x, which is 2 plus b. So if I multiply this out, I get 0 is equal to negative 3 plus b. Add 3 to both sides. So b is equal to 3. So my final answer is y equals negative 3/2 x plus 3. Okay? Okay, not bad. Number 17. Find the equation. Guys, you should look at this. We've talked about this so many times. Look at the negative 6. It's the same. You should recognize this as a band problem. Okay, band problem means, oh, geez, y is negative 6. So that's the answer to this problem. Y equals negative 6. Okay, let me just kind of write something else here. If I said, 3, negative 2, and 3, comma 5, you should look and go, oh, geez, this is another band problem. Another band problem. And you should say, oh, x equals 3. And you're done with the problem. Okay? So look for those. Obviously, if it's not a band problem, then you got to do like you did on number 16, where you actually figure out the slope and then the value of b. Okay? But band problems are really fast. And be careful when I ask for an equation. This is an equation, I'm not looking for a slope. If I ask you for a slope, it's different. Slope means, oh, it's like for the original one I gave you, the slope is 0. Okay, because y equals. And this is an x equals, so what is the slope for this one? So slope, which m, is undefined. Okay, so be careful what I'm asking for here. Okay, last problem. Find the equation of a line passing through 1, negative 3 as perpendicular to this equation. So here's the deal. It's perpendicular, so what's my new slope? You flip it, you get 2, and change the sign. So slope is negative 2. Okay, and there's your x and there's your y. So we got to find b. So plug it in. Y equals m times x plus b. So negative 3 equals negative 2 plus b. Add 2 to both sides. B is negative 1. Okay, so I have m and I have b. And so my equation is y is equal to negative 2x minus 1. Okay, pretty easy. Please do not use this slope in your new equation. That just helps you to get that slope. So you see y is equal to negative 2x minus 1. All right, anyway, that is the review sheet in about 12 minutes. Hopefully you guys are good to go, but you need to study for the test because it's got every type of problem on there. Look at both of your quizzes. It's a good study guide to prepare for this test. All right, my friends, that's it. Have an outstanding day. Adios.